Hey 7th graders, today's lesson is 1.2 Metabolism. I'm excited to start this today. It's one of my favorite units with you guys because you get to learn a little bit about the human body, and at one point I wanted to be a doctor. So at any rate, your learning target today, I can outline the pathway of food and oxygen through the body to the cells. So we're really going to look at what happens when we bring things into our body, mainly food and oxygen when we breathe. Okay, you guys should have already completed the 1.1 pre-assessment. If you guys haven't done that, make sure you guys get that done by Friday. But moving on, we have a new notebook section that we need to start up. So on slide 2, you guys will see the instructions for that. So you guys will need to open your OneNote. You'll click Add Section and title that new section Metabolism. Remember, every time we do a new unit, we add on a new little section in our notebook. Okay, then you guys need 2 new pages for that. You guys should already have one for you given when you made that new section. So title that one Vocab and then click Add Page again and title that Key Concepts. Then you guys are going to add Metabolism to your Vocab page and the unit question to your Key Concepts page. So that should look like this. So here's my Add section down here. I would have titled that Metabolism, and then it already had this page, so I titled it Vocab. And then I click Add Page, and I'm going to title that one Key Concepts. So those are your guys' sections for this unit. Okay, you guys should have added the unit question, which is what we're going to focus on being able to answer throughout this unit. How do the trillions of cells, which again we learned about in the last unit, is that the body has trillions of cells, and then we also have trillions of microorganisms in and on us. So how do the trillions of cells in the human body, and I'm talking about your cells, okay, your skin cells, your hair cell, or cells of your hair follicles, cells in your heart, cells in your muscles, your nerve cells, whatever the case. So how do the trillions of cells in the human body get what they need to function? And they have a lot of things they need. And what do the cells do with the things they absorb? So we're really going to look at what we bring into our body, what we do with that, and then what we use that stuff for and why it's important. Okay, your vocab today. Yesterday on a piece of notebook paper, you guys should have written what you thought about metabolism. So here's today's definition of metabolism. The body's use of molecules for energy and growth. Okay, so if we are using our molecules for energy and growth quickly, then generally you see your body being a little bit more efficient with energy. You got a lot more energy. Maybe you're even losing weight, whatever the case is. If you guys have that slower metabolism, you're just not breaking down the molecules you need, getting them to your cells efficiently or using them efficiently. And sometimes you might feel tired or you might gain weight depending on just what's going on with your body and what you're putting into it. Okay, so make sure you guys have that notebook set up correctly. And then once you guys do, we'll go on to the next. Okay, remember that you guys need to pause this video as you work through this. Okay, so if you guys haven't already, get your notebook set up, pause this video, come on back. Okay, and you guys are going to watch this little video called Elisa's Condition. So you guys are going to be learning about a girl named Elisa, and she's really tired all the time. So you guys are going to kind of play the doctor role in this and figure out what's wrong with Elisa. So you guys will right click, open this up, and then go ahead and take a second, pause this video to watch this video about Elisa. Okay, and when you guys are done, come on back. All right, so you guys just learned a little bit about Elisa. So you're gonna go ahead and move on to slide 4, your activity 3 warm-up for today, which just asks, why do you think your new patient Elisa is feeling tired all the time? Explain your ideas. So come up with a couple ideas of what you guys think might be going on with Elisa. Again, take a second, pause this video, finish your warm-up, and then you guys can move on to the next part of this lesson, which is the sim. All right, so moving on to slide 5. We have the simulation, so you guys will go ahead and right-click and open up this link. It's going to pull up a tab that looks like this. Are you using an iPad? Of course, you are probably going to select no unless you are using an iPad. And it's going to take a second for me to load, so I'm going to go ahead and just explore some things with you guys. So for this exploration, you guys will have about 5 minutes to explore how to work the sim. You guys will launch the simulation. You'll select Healthy Body from the menu. There's some different conditions that we're going to look at, like anemia, asthma, things like that, and see how those change compared to a healthy body. Go ahead and select Observe, and then explore that sim for a little bit. So kind of mess around with that. You guys don't need to get into anything else but the healthy body for today, because you guys will have chances to explore everything else. And then as you explore, think about these questions. How does the sim work, and what do you notice? Okay, So of course my sim is still loading. Notice on the left-hand side we have healthy body, so we're gonna stay there today. And you guys can choose observe. You guys will also do test at some point too. So we're not gonna worry about that for right now. Notice on the right-hand side, you guys have fish, corn, Sammys. You guys can feed your little body. I'm gonna go ahead and buzz this up a little bit larger, okay? You guys can change the activity level. You guys can change how fast you guys digest by adjusting the amount of digestive enzymes you have in your system. You guys can observe the heart rate, how many breaths you're taking in a minute, so you guys can stop that. You guys notice the key down here. We have proteins, amino acids, fibers, starches. Those are the kind of the things that are coming into our body. So these first 1, 2, 3, 4 items are food. These 2 items are things we breathe in, carbon dioxide and water, and then of course water we drink, okay, which kind of pairs in with food as well. Okay, but we'll also see water in other places in our cells other than coming in through our digestive system. All right, so take about 5 minutes, pause, mess around with this, see what you guys can do, check out some of these views up here. And then once you guys are done with that, we'll go ahead and move on to the next slide. All right, so you guys are gonna stay in the sim for this one. And mainly what you guys are gonna do is you're gonna trace out what happens to a few specific objects. So on the first little goal here, you guys have what happens to the food and air that enters this healthy simulation body. So you guys are gonna basically watch and say, all right, food, let's take a look at food. Okay, actually let's do air since air is already right here. All right, I'm gonna watch air come in right here, meaning this must be our respiratory side. So this must be our trachea into our lungs, okay? And then into our bloodstream is the red part here. And then you guys can also click on these and see this is glucose storage in the body. This is our circulatory system, heart and blood vessels. And then these are the cells in the body. So these represent all your little cells, like your muscle cells, your skin cells, nerve cells, whatever the case. Okay, so you got a lot of different cells there that are all getting these things. So what I want you guys to do is just watch oxygen come in, okay, or air. I want you to kind of watch where it goes. All right, this is obviously the lungs. There we go. The lungs. And then where do they go once they leave the lungs? And then where do they go once they leave the circulatory system? So I want you to kind of trace out the pathway of oxygen in your system, and then do the same thing for food as well. Okay, so which pathway does the food take? Okay, and then finally, which molecules are entering the cells? So you guys are going to observe all of those, and then on the next 2 slides, you guys are going to kind of talk about those pathways. So maybe take food first and do food, and then answer the question on the pathway food takes. So where does it start? Where does it end? Okay, where does it go in between? Describe the pathway of oxygen. Again, those are the little green dots. Where does it start? Where does it end? And where does it go in between? And then finally, what molecules do you see in the cells? You guys are going to zoom in and kind of watch the cells for a little bit and see all the different things you guys see in there. Okay, make sure you guys obviously feed as you guys go through, otherwise you're going to be missing a big component. So maybe add some fish or some corn or some Sammys, okay, to your diet and see kind of where everything ends up in your little yellow box out here, which represents our cells, okay? All right, so talk about that. And then finally, we're going to move on to our homework for today, which is testing diets in the sim. So in this homework, you will experiment with different diets in the simulation to see how the diet affects the number of molecules. So you guys kind of get to choose what you feed your little sim guy and then see how that affects what the cells are getting, okay? Because we're going to start focusing in on what we need in the cells and why we need that information or those certain molecules in the cells. So you'll launch the metabolism simulation, and then you're going to choose healthy body, but this time you're going to click test. In test mode, you set up a pre-planned diet by pressing on the items under add food source. Then you press play and observe the simulation. The diet you selected is fed to the body automatically, and the test runs until the timer reaches 200. During this test, you can observe the metabolism sim in the live view or switch to the graph view. In the graph view, you can see the final results for the molecules absorbed by cells, which is the data you will record by the... So I'm going to highlight that for you guys because I think that's where you guys need to be for the most part. So in the graph view, you can see the final results of the total molecules absorbed by cells, which is the data you will record below. So that's where you guys find the data you need. Plan at least 3 different tests of a diet for the healthy body. Record your plan in the diet tables, and then run your test and record your results, the number of molecules absorbed by cells. So again, you're going to find this in the graph view. Okay, with some diets, your simulation body will run out of energy before you reach 200 seconds. You'll need to reset and try a different diet. So if that happens, your diet wasn't sufficient, so try doing that again. And then we're going to go ahead and record our results below. So let's take a look at our first diet, and I will do this one for you guys. Okay, so this is Healthy Body Diet Plans number 1. We're going to go ahead and reset our simulation. Let's see, how do I do that? Okay, so I'm going to go over here and go Healthy Body. I'm going to go reload, yes, and then for this one I'm going to choose test. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and feed my guy one of everything just to kind of keep a rounded balance. Okay, so I just selected 1 corn, 1 fish, 1 sandwich. So I would choose right here 1 corn, 1 fish, 1 sandwich. Okay, so you guys can again use this same example, or if you guys want to do 3 of your own diets, you're more than welcome to. You'll still have 2 diets to do from here on out as well. So you're more than welcome to use this data also. That is 100% up to you. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit play. One little hint is because we have to let this run to 200 seconds, where 200 time units are not exactly seconds. I'm going to go ahead and speed my little guy up. Okay, and then the place you guys want to be is in graph view here. Okay, so you guys can see all of these different arrows here. The red one is heartbeats, breathing rate is the blue arrow, yellow is your guys' amount of, if we go back to our live view, it's the amount of cellular respiration, I believe. And then activity level, we're just walking, and then the stored glucose molecules, you guys can see the glucose changing in that. You guys can also, like I said, like be in the live view and see kind of what's happening here, but this won't give you the numbers you need to record in your data table. So again, you guys want to be in graph view. And if you guys watch the timeline, we're almost at 200 seconds where this should stop automatically. So right about now. Okay, so this test is concluded. Review the results. So again, if you don't make it to 200 seconds, your diet wasn't sufficient. So you guys might want to tweak your diet just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to get my information for this final table. This is the results, molecules absorbed by the cells. So again, we want to find out of the food we ate in that diet, what came out of our cells. So I'm looking for glucose, amino acids, and oxygen. So this little piece right here is in your graph view, and it's total molecules absorbed by cells. So 35 glucose. So out of our diet, we pulled out 35 glucose. Tomorrow, we're gonna learn a little bit more about what glucose is. You guys are gonna build some little fun molecules. Same with amino acids. We're gonna learn about that tomorrow. And then over the next week, we're gonna kind of look at food and what we find in our food. And 251 oxygen. So that's mainly from us breathing, not from the food we eat. Okay, so that's what a healthy diet plan would look like. Again, you guys set what they eat and record it in the table. You let it run for 200 seconds. And then in the graph, you guys find the molecules absorbed by the cells. Okay, so you guys will come up with your own diet number 2. Okay, and tell me how many corn, fish, and Sammys you eat. Record your glucose absorbed by the cells, amino acid absorbed by the cells, and oxygen absorbed by the cells. And then you guys will move on to your diet plan number 3, which again, same thing, record what you eat, record what's absorbed. Okay, wrap this up. Any questions, circle yes or no. If you have a question, type it here. If not, leave this part blank. And then 4, 3, 2, 1, how do you think you did on this assignment? You are all done. Great work. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.